And you know I can't leave zero hedge out of this one. Out of any daily videos, they just have too much unbelievably phenomenal information. How could I not share it with anybody? Is the Yellen Fed planning to sabotage Trump's presidency, says their article. However, authored by Stephen Gleason via Money Metals Exchange. Speaking of Gleason, Jackie Gleason, name this movie from the 80s. Ho, 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 look at it roll. Now we can watch Jackie Gleason while we eat. Don't you dare go search that phrase on the internet. This is on the honor system. Use that brain of yours. 1980s movie. I'll even give you another hint. I believe they made a total of 3 part 1, 2, and 3. The Federal Reserve can make or break a president. Monetary policy influences all financial markets as well as the cycles in the economy. No president wants to have to run for re-election when the stock market and economy are turning down. Recall that President George H.W. Bush, that would be Papa Bush, the elder, was sitting on sky-high job approval numbers in 1991 and was expected to coast to victory in his 1992 re-election bid. But then the economy swooned toward recession, giving Bill Clinton the opening he needed. Bush later blamed Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan for his defeat. Greenspan had held interest rates too high for too long, Bush complained. On the campaign trail in 2016, Donald Trump complained that Fed Chair Yellen was trying to help Hillary Clinton by keeping rates near zero and pumping up the stock market with liquidity, which is true. However, now that he made it into office, and to be fair, right, I can't be biased, even though I always give him a Trump bump, can't be biased here. Now that he made it, does that change what he said? No. She did it. She's still doing it. And he's now even talking, hey, since I've been elected, look how high the market is. And Mr. President Trump, I don't know if I would have said those words, because when it goes the other way, when the club decides, hey, Yellen, it's time. No more propping it up. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Don't prop the market up anymore. Let it go. Let it go. That was awful. Matter of fact, every time I probably sing, it's probably awful. So maybe I shouldn't even give that little speech there. They're keeping the rates artificially low so that Obama can go out and play golf in January and say that he did a good job. It's a very false economy, Trump had told reporters back in September of 2016. Now he's playing golf and talking about how great the market is, right? Isn't that amazing? Reappointing Janet Yellen could be politically dangerous to Trump. Now that he's president, Trump may have become the stock market bubble's most high-profile cheerleader. He certainly doesn't want it to burst on his watch. The president has warmed up to Yellen's Dow-friendly, easy monetary policies. He even suggested he might reappoint her to the Federal Reserve in early 2017 or 2018. That would be a politically dangerous move. The Fed could help determine which party has the advantage in the 2018 midterms and the 2020 presidential election beyond that. Of course, Fed officials insist they are data-driven, not political at all. We're data-driven, and don't make policy decisions based on politics. Whether they intend to be or not, Fed policymakers are inevitably involved in politics. The members of the Federal Reserve Board are political appointees. You and I do not, and probably never will, be able to vote for those people. All these other key positions that matter, you and I don't get to vote for either. They're appointed. Imagine that. It's understandable that, well, it says Fed moves could crash the stock market, hurting Republicans in 2018. It's understandable that Trump is playing nice with Yellen while she's helping keep things seemingly peachy keen on the markets. But the consequences of the Fed's balance sheet normalization, again, taking the $4.5 trillion and normalizing it down to where it should be, around $0.5 trillion or so, program may still be fully felt next year. He shouldn't underestimate the risks of the bubble he identified in 2016 bursting in time for the elections in 2018. This year's midterms will be of particular concern to Fed officials. Republicans have a shot at expanding their majority in the Senate and finally being able to pass conservative legislation, including potentially an audit and reforms of the Federal Reserve System. In recent years, GOP reformers in Congress have pushed bills that would force the Fed to adhere to a rules-based formula for setting its target interest rate. That would help remove political conflicts of interest from policy decisions and make them less impact on markets. Right now, any major monetary reform efforts would be met with insurmountable resistance by the keepers of the center-left status quo in the U.S. Senate. Yes, despite Republicans having a nominal majority in the Senate, conservatives are in the minority. That became abundantly clear when a pair of liberal Republicans joined anti-Trump establishmentarian John McCain in voting to save Obamacare from being repealed. Trump's priorities to be stymied unless GOP gains seats. It's likely that none of the Trump's legislative priorities, from healthcare to immigration to the tax thing, will ever make it to his desk to become law, unless conservative or libertarian-leaning Republicans hold on to the House and gain some seats in 2018. Midterms typically result in net losses for the party that controls the White House. Democrats might be feeling good about their odds of winning back full control of the Senate, except for the fact they face a big structural disadvantage this time around. Democrats must defend 25 Senate seats in 2018, while Republicans only have to put 9 on the line. GOP strategists see an opportunity to expand their majority by knocking off vulnerable Democrat incumbents in Indiana, Missouri, Montana, North Dakota, and West Virginia, states that swung heavily for Trump in 2016. The question is, will the economic backdrop be favored for Republicans to campaign on the Trump agenda? That remains to be seen. Given the stakes, Donald Trump's hiring decisions at the Fed could make or break his presidency. Take care.